Welcome everyone to episode 122 of Just Joshing. I am your host, Joshua Pantellaresco. Alright, step in podcast 2. My guest today is the one and only Patricia Flewwelling, writer, on the road traveler, salesman. She might actually be the best salesperson I've ever come across in all my time doing conventions. Actually, she sold me on this board game that's really fun. I'm going to be playing it really soon with the returning Taya Van Diepen, who's also going to be back on the podcast soon enough. Mwahaha. But for now, I've been kind of holding up on some things because I've been some personal things and some professional things are coming to a fruition really soon. Next week, I talk about all of them on the podcast, at least for one segment, probably at the conclusion of one of the episodes. Also of note, this week there's going to be a special episode this Friday. This Friday, my guest will be Marek Hayduk. He is a businessman running in his first election, and we talk about politics. Now, normally, I'm not gonna lie. There is a bit of a spiel in terms of the information he's providing, why you should vote for him. But whether you vote for him or not, there's a lot of good information about local politics. It was an educational conversation, to say the least. I encourage everybody to tune in this Friday for it because it's, I think, a very important show, especially if you live in Calgary. It'll give you an idea what goes on with the city politics, and if you're a homeowner especially, you should listen to this episode coming up. All right, let's get to it, shall we? We are excited that the recorder turned on, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay.
I'm going to say this. I am with the one and only Pat Flewwelling.
That's me.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank goodness there's only one.
There's the evil twin?
I am the evil twin.
You are the evil twin.
I am the evil twin.
So you killed the original?
Yes, I did.
Excellent.
Yeah, replaced him in the womb.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Evil.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
Yeah. Oh,
At
yeah.
the beginning. Jeez.
Died in the wall.
No wonder you're from Oshawa.
Oh, yeah. I think it's the other way around. It's because I'm from Oshawa that I'm evil.
Yes. Yeah, it's like no
Something
wonder.
in the water.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm from there too. But most people don't know that. Joshua from Oshawa. Oh, I got that big time when I was elementary.
I bet you did.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did. When I was living there, I didn't live there for too long. It's like, oh man, it's like, oh.
Yeah. Well, now everybody knows exactly how to pronounce it. It's not Oshawa.
Yeah.
It rhymes with Joshua.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It does. So we're doing our hotel thing. We're both a little, I think, nervous about this. So how's it been?
It's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of jet lagged, obviously coming in from Ontario. Still haven't quite made the 2-hour jump yet, and here I am now 7 days here. So I don't know, that and the sun here is weird because in Ontario
it's close here.
It's close.
Yeah.
And it also sets later.
Yes.
I didn't realize how far north I was until your sunset is actually about 45 minutes later than mine.
Yes. And then on top of the boat, when it's winter here, the weirdest thing I get getting used to here is like the sun is so close, yet it is somehow cold. I don't understand.
It's like a big brass coin. There's no heat coming off of it.
No, there's heat. It's just the sun just keeps off for himself. It's like you can't have any of it.
Oh, tantalizing.
That's right.
But your sun must set at like what, 2:30 in the afternoon?
Oh God, yeah, probably.
Let's not think about that. It's August. It's beautiful. It's sunshiny.
I work in it in the wintertime, so it's just like
No.
No.
I think I'll stay on my computer instead.
Yeah, one day. I'm getting there, little by little. So yeah. So you've written a lot of books.
I've written a few books.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where did your passion for writing come from? Was it just reading someone saying one day I'm going to be a writer, or was this your natural superpower?
I think it was kind of the socially appropriate way of channeling my evilness. So instead of me actually going out and biting on people, I can actually write about people who bite about people.
Yeah.
Or bite people. Yeah.
I think that works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
There. So no, that's so it just so I guess biting people, kill like vampire kind of stuff.
Not quite. No, it's actually much more lycanthropy for the main series that I'm working on right now. The first one is Helix Flight of Exiles, and that came out about 3 years ago. Yeah. We launched the second one, Plague of Ghouls, here at WWC last year. And the third one is actually coming out this fall, Scourge of Bones.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm also happy. I signed a contract for the follow-up story.
High five.
Yes.
That's right. Congratulations.
Actually, I really love that series. I had the original idea when I was still in university, and I didn't have enough of a plot to actually write it down until one night I had this incredible dream that pretty much set everything in motion. But I actually wrote the first full novel in 72 hours.
Damn.
Yep, 300 pages, double-spaced.
Did you sleep?
No.
Yeah.
No, not a whole lot. But it was actually for a charity, a fundraiser. We were raising money for literacy programs, and it was 9 years ago. Yeah, 9 years ago that I went to my first one. So I'd heard about things like the 72-hour novel that you do online, and NaNoWriMo and everything else. This one was actually raising money for literacy programs in Ontario.
Oh, very cool.
So I thought, okay, this is good. You know, I get to have my fun, but it's also for a good cause. Next thing I know, there's a brand new book. Of course, it was absolute crap because it was a first draft and I was sleep deprived. But it all worked. I had the core of the characters there, the plot was there, you name it.
Well, but that's sometimes the important thing. Like the worst thing you can do as a writer is go back and change ideas in the middle, unless something really like drastically alters your story.
Mm-hmm.
Here, you're like, okay, this is really cool. I got to figure out how to get there a little bit better. That's the only time I ever justify going backwards. Otherwise, you just gotta go. You gotta go forward and you gotta get it done.
And this is why I love the marathons, especially
Yeah.
the shorter the better, because you have to outrun self-doubt. And a lot of the times when you think, oh, that's not right, it is literally just self-doubt. There's nothing wrong with the story. You just don't like how it's flowing right now because you're so used to reading things that are perfect.
Yeah.
Right? You forget that you have to get through the rough spots in order to go back and smooth it out later.
And also, there just comes a point too when you're writing something, it's work. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a legitimate point where it's not fun because you just and it's just part of the process when you do it because it's like, okay, I got to get to point B and point B is awesome, but point A,
There's a couple of pit stops there. There's some holes in the road. There's a troll. There's a giant.
I'm going through the 401 traffic in Toronto. See, you can tell I'm from Ontario, so I know that. Yeah.
The DVP.
Yeah, you gotta buy like the DVP at like before 2 p.m. because if you don't, you get worked by the traffic. Yeah.
You're not going anywhere.
Yep.
No, it's a Doctor Who episode at that point.
Not even Doctor Who's Santa.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like, why? Like, there's this scene in this one movie. I think it's Office Space where there's a old guy with a walker and the guy's drives right by him. And then there's this point he's in traffic for so long the guy with the walker is passing him. And I'm like.
Yeah.
That happens. But
Yeah.
but going back on kilter here. No, just no. Like one of the most important thing. I think it's any artwork, not just writing, but any artwork. Just get it down.
Yeah.
Right. Just even like if you're an artist, you thumbnail. Just get the thumbnail down. It doesn't matter if it's perfect.
Yep.
That does not. It's not an issue. What is it's down now, so you can take what you have and you can go. Okay, what works? What doesn't? This works. This works. This works.
Mm-hmm.
That does not work. That does not work. What was I thinking? And then.
But then you also have the other times when you're going so fast, you don't really remember all the stuff you've done. So you go back a couple months later and you go, holy cow, that works!
Yes.
That's awesome! Who wrote that?
Oh my God, it was me.
Those are the parts I love.
Yes. No, that's the best part of it. Actually, it's the best part of the writing experience. So I read some of my older stuff. The stuff that, it makes you cringe. You're never going to show it to the public. But there's this one scene, I still have it. And it's my villain. Villains are fun to write. They are so fun to write. But there's this villain. He's waiting to kill his brother.
Okay.
Right.
In the womb?
No, he's in a room waiting to kill him.
In the womb?
No,
like
no.
Okay.
There was actually the resentment came over time. Not there. So what ended up happening was he had the thought to go actually out and hunt his brother down, but decided not to because he would enjoy killing him more here. And it was an exercise in discipline for him. That's
the patient villain.
Not just the patient villain. The patient. I really hate this guy, and I want to make sure I get it as much. I can only kill him once.
So it's also like poetic revenge too.
Yeah, kind of.
Ooh.
Kind of.
Right.
So I had anger issues when I was younger. Still have a few anger issues, but yeah, by and large, I'm mostly a happy-go-lucky guy now. But the thing of it is, right? Like there are pieces like you write, like that was brilliant. Who was that guy? Oh my, it was me. And then, but again, it's the flip side to that too, because sometimes you're just a machine. Like it's not like you're basically like a conduit sometimes when you write.
Mm-hmm.
You're not it's there and you're tapping into something, but you're not sure what that is. You're just for whatever reason you're connected to it, and while you're connected to it, things come out.
Especially, well, with the whole thing about working through it too. I think Neil Gaiman said you have to trust the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you may not realize that the back of your brain is working on something, and you're making connections that you don't quite see yet. But when you get through the really tough spots, you suddenly go, "That's why I did it that way."
I'll actually tell you a funny one about this one afterwards. But no, it's really cool when you did it. So was that your first book? Like, was that your?
No, that was the first one that I got published. Yes. I have written 52 novels, 86 short stories, 50-some 2-actor radio plays, and a couple of poetry.
So a Renaissance woman applies to you.
Not anymore.
Not anymore?
No, what I was doing a lot was, I was under the impression that if you wanted to be a full-time writer, you had to be able to produce everything every single day. Like, you had to have 12 books a month out there. So I practiced writing very quickly. But what I noticed was, if I do it that way, 1 part writing, 3 parts editing. So if I do 1 hour of writing, it will take 3 hours to edit that same section. So I thought, this is a waste of time. So now I actually do slow down. I think about the whole story first, not how I'm going to say it, but the actual story from beginning to end. So I've slowed down a lot. But the difference is, I have umpteen different short stories and novels and everything else that will never be published. Now that I'm slowing down, things are actually getting published.
And also, you're making far less mistakes.
Oh, I still make mistakes.
No. I'm not saying you don't.
Far less.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, not just the little mistakes either, but the big integral show-stopping mistakes that if it were a movie, it would be how it should have ended. Parodies. Have you ever seen those? I love those. I learned so much from those.
Sometimes. Okay, so I can't remember which movie one I saw. I looked at that, it's like, no, that's actually worse than the one that was actually in the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen sometimes. Okay, so my whole thing about analysis of it, some of it's brilliant. Like my personal favorite, Henry Plankett's deconstruction of the first 3 Star Wars prequels.
Okay.
He actually breaks down using the rules of cinema and his own some of his own neurotic psychoses. He actually breaks down why the first 3 movies don't work.
Okay.
And what it comes down to is this. Basically, here's the short version. In 1 sentence, describe Han Solo.
Shooty first.
Now describe Qui-Gon Jinn. It's harder, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go one step further. Obi-Wan Kenobi in New Hope. Obi-Wan Kenobi in Phantom Menace. You can do it in New Hope, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
But you can't do it in the Phantom Menace.
No.
Want me to keep going? I'll throw one more at you.
Okay, go for it.
Luke Skywalker.
Whiny.
Yes, but you right off the bat. Right? And so, Anakin.
Whiny.
Touche?
Yeah.
Touche?
Yeah.
But very different kind of whiny.
Very much so.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, one was whiny because he's old and he's trying to figure out his place in the universe. He's basically Percival in space. And the other one is whiny because he's 10. Yeah. So, and that's essentially the flaw of the Star Wars prequels, right? Is you don't have any character. Yeah, that's the flaw with them. Is you don't have any character to actually invest in.
There's no handles on the characters.
No, at all, except for one, and the only one you get a handle on is in the 3rd one, and that's the Emperor. Because yes, he's irredeemably evil. Yes, he did stupid stuff too. However, he's so having fun doing it, you cannot help
but actually liking the guy.
No, because he's so genuinely him. Like you get him. Right? It's like, yeah, you are just a scumbag, but you are honest about it, right?
And you enjoy it. You are comfortable with your scumbagness.
Yeah, that's right, and I'm good with that, right?
He's comfortable in his own wrinkly.
No, but that's the point. Like people when they know who they are, whether they're good, bad. I mean, we can talk about protagonists, and it doesn't matter. When they know who they like, and antagonists. One thing about most antagonists, especially in hero's journey stories, they know who they are, right? Right?
Protagonists never do.
No, that's because it's the trope, and that's also the way it's the equivalent of a blank slate for a reader. Usually, that's why it's done that way. Now, it's much trickier to do a protagonist that knows who he is. All right, it's trickier because
it's trickier to be convincing that way.
Yes.
I mean, take a look at Clark Kent. He knows exactly what he is.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
And but the thing is, Superman. But see, some people.
But he's also boring. I'm sorry.
I actually so I'm going to disagree with you on one part.
Yeah.
Silver Age Superman is not boring.
Which one?
Silver Age Superman is not boring.
Okay, no, I can't say that.
No. Modern Age, yes. Yes, but Silver Age.
Except for the time when he saved the girl on the ledge.
Yes.
Yeah, that one still gets me.
Yeah, but also All-Star Superman. You have to read it. So here's the premise is really simple. Superman gets put into a situation where he's in the sun for so long he has too much power and he's dying because of it.
Oh,
so he has to do 12 labors. So also Superman's the 12 labors of Superman.
Yeah.
So it's basically they retold the Silver Age Superman stories for the modern age. It's fantastic.
Cool. The one that I like the best was Gods and Monsters.
That's really good.
I love that one.
Yeah.
Especially because they had the Hispanic twist on it as well. I loved that.
No, but here's the thing. Superman's a fun character. He should be a fun character.
But he's too powerful.
No.
There's no.
So my thing is no. So you don't challenge him in terms of power. You challenge him
from the inside out.
Yeah, that's how you do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right now. But the thing with Superman is he's not a rubber band. Batman's a rubber band. You can take him in any direction you want, and he's Batman. Superman's not a rubber band. He's like a spoon. You can bend a spoon to a point, but if you bend it too much, you break it. You can't really bend, right? And that's like it's not Superman anymore. Mm-hmm. Superman cannot be a vampire.
No.
Right?
No, that. Oh.
Batman can be though.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah. See.
And once again, he Gods and Monsters.
Yeah. But I mean that's my point, right? Superman's challenge is he's not an elastic character. So you have to because he's true to himself. That's the thing, right? Mm-hmm. Right? He's true to himself. King Arthur's the same way. King Arthur's the same problem. King Arthur can't suddenly break down and do break dance in the middle of a show.
True enough.
He can't really do that. But
he still did dumb things.
Oh, no, absolutely. But they were within context to his character. And again, bend the spoon. You can bend the spoon a little bit, but you can't break the spoon, or he's not King Arthur anymore. He's just something. It's something else. So
Lancelot is a little more bendy.
Oh, Lancelot's a lot more bendy.
Yeah.
Percival is even bendier, right? So it's just like.
Yep.
I love that bendier was a technical term in this podcast. But that's
scumbagginess. Don't forget.
Yeah, scumbagginess. We are sophisticated and smart and starved.
We are SMRT.
I mean SMRT. I love that. Why? Then on top of things that should have ended sooner. That show should have ended a lot sooner than it did. The first 7 seasons are still funny as hell to watch.
I haven't watched it in so long.
Well, no. The thing is, you don't want to because now it's like that. I don't even look at it when they're on. I don't even look at them anymore because the reason being it's like you're not my show anymore. You're somebody else's characters. You go here. I'll go back into my area. That is the one beautiful thing about television. You can watch your favorite stuff again
on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm. That's why I was able to watch the Gargoyles season all over again.
I love Gargoyles up until they came back from Babylon. That's such a fantastic show up until that point.
Yeah, it was the season 2 that killed it. Really.
Yeah, because the journey thing, like they were trying to expand the world, and it's like it lost roots of what it should have been. But I love the Archmage. I love Macbeth. I love Demona. Mm-hmm. That relationship is one of the most interesting ones in all of.
Yep.
Yeah. I love that. I love again, but that whole story is just that was like brilliantly constructed, top to bottom. I love the Illuminati connection in there. That's fantastic. I love that. Also,
I love the fact that it was like basically a Star Trek Next Generation reunion.
Yes, it was. No,
Especially when they brought in Michael Dorn. Like, I know that voice.
Brent Spiner was Puck.
Yep.
Yeah, Brett Spiner was Puck. I was, and Deanna Troi, Marie Sturgis was the Demona.
Yeah, Jonathan Frakes.
Yeah, Jonathan Frakes as the villain. That's honestly my favorite role.
They just basically drew him.
Yes. Cause why wouldn't you? It was just. I mean, everybody knows who he is.
Yeah.
And even Demona's got a little bit of that Deanna Troi going with her a little bit. They were. I'm actually really curious if I met the rest of the Gargoyles cast, if they actually all on some level looked a little bit like them. I feel bad for whoever. I can't remember the dog's name. That would be
Bronx.
Yeah, Bronx. Yeah, that might be a frightening conversation. Hi. It's just like,
why the long face?
Yeah, it's like, why so serious? But no. I love YouTube's great for me. The show I've been catching up on, Teen Titans.
Which one?
The original.
The original?
The original.
I did like the original. When they went a little bit more anime style, it was too fast for me.
Yeah.
Too silly.
Yeah. I like up to Teen Titans Go. Once I got Teen Titans Go, until Teen Titans, it was but no, because I actually like the anime influence in that show. It worked. I just think I wish they had kept the original designs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also I love the Juice contract. That was fantastic. So beyond all that, so you 52 books.
I think I have to go back and check it again.
52 books.
Yeah.
So how many of them are published?
So Helix 1 and 2 are currently published. Number 3 is coming out this fall. I have a what's called Decopunk or Diesel Punk. I've got 2 stories out there in a 4-book series. I've got a non-fiction book called Judge Not as well. That was an interesting one. That's actually I picked up a contract to novelize a movie script. So it was optioned, but it hadn't been in production yet, and they wanted a novel companion. So I spoke with the guys, went through the script, and I wrote it out as a novel. And as I'm going through it, I'm realizing that this is actually somebody's life that I'm writing about. And there's a couple of scenes. I won't spoil too much for it, but basically what happens is the main character, the real person, Jonathan Parker, he had a friendship with basically a mentor, and it was set in Regina. So he makes this friendship with this fellow, and he's a rich businessman who's very much self-made. And he saw himself in the main character, Jonathan. So he helped invest and teach him how to build a business. Well, it just so turns out that this older gentleman, the businessman, had made some bad enemies on the RCMP. Now, to make matters worse, he just happened to be Italian, which to these guys equated mafia. And they were looking for ways of bringing him down. So they were trumping up charges, trying to find or falsify evidence to convict him. But since they couldn't get to him, they went through my main character to force him into giving false testimony. And it just spirals out of control. Every time that Jonathan tries to get himself out of bad business, either they crank up the stress or he actually does something wrong. Just one of those stupid human errors that made matters worse.
Because of the pressure of the situation. They put pressure on him. He responded.
Exactly.
Because contrary to popular belief, even if you're innocent, if someone comes after you, you're going to run. It's just the natural. Yep. It's the natural instinct. It doesn't matter if you're guilty or you're not. What actually happens there is you're going to react because that's just a perfect route. Now, if you can figure out what you understand what they're doing, it's easier to resist it. But even so, I mean.
But if you can't see them coming, you're trying to anticipate what they're going to do, and you will fail. Yeah. Because they're already 2 steps ahead of you, and they hold all the cards. But long story short, there's a scene where he does end up in prison. The whole trial is it's stacked against him, and he ends up being in prison. And there's a scene that's very, very hard for me to write that I had to send back to my client to proofread, which was basically me having him to relive that moment. And that was really touching. That he had to trust me enough to tell his story. And then I have to go back to him and make sure that it was correct, which means he has to relive it, correct what I've said, and then I have to put it out in the world. So it was a real eye-opener writing that story and working with him.
Well, one thing I've learned just in my travels and stuff like that, like people are never quite what they appear to be. And
that's why the book is called Judgment.
Yeah, people are never quite what they appear to be, and more often than not, they're usually much deeper and much more profound than you'll ever see. And that's it's like again, one of my favorite things about doing something like this is I get to know a little bit about you in a way I would otherwise never get to.
Yeah.
By the way, she's also an amazing saleswoman. There's this game there.
Oh, I'm evil. I am evil.
She is. I wasn't going to buy any games this weekend. She goes, "No, you got to see this." I'm like, "Oh, you evil."
We sold out this morning.
Yeah.
We sold out of the game this morning.
So basically, I gotta come get mine, man, if I'm gonna grab it. Yeah, yeah. It's like, okay, so I'll get mine as soon as we're done this. But oh man, no, it's just one of those. It's one of those things where you realize that everybody's got so much depth to them, and when you realize that, you have to let go of any judgments you have because you haven't
got a clue.
Yeah.
You absolutely not have a clue. I really had to struggle with that a few times because I see somebody and automatically you're just so trained to know these things. For an example, I actually had to confront my own internalized racism once upon a time, and then I had to see it externalized as well. I was going on a train, and I looked at my ticket, and I see the fellow sitting beside me in the aisle, and he's a big black fellow, hoodie, everything else. He looks kind of out of it. I'm like, oh crap, I'm in trouble. And then I hated myself for it because I can hear all this. This is not how I want to think, but it's just your automatic thought process. So I figured the exact same thing. I would decide that this guy has more than what the surface shows. I'm going to talk with this guy. Turns out that he had more devices on him than I did. He had his iPhone, he had a pager, he had charging devices that I've never seen before, he had his laptop, he had this and that and the other thing. And then he decides to show me his $10,000 equipment, sound equipment. You would have drooled to see this thing.
Oh yeah.
You know, and he does professional music mixing and everything else. And the reason why he was tired was because I picked him up. Well, I joined his car in Montreal. He had already been on the train since Halifax, and he was taking the train into Toronto to see his kids. All four of which he had actually sent through university on his own dime. And that really sat me down, and I was glad that I actually took the time. Then the conductor came through, and he didn't just check tickets, which is what the conductor is supposed to do, right? Well, my companion had purchased a ticket with a CAA membership, so he had a discount. And this conductor insisted on seeing the CAA card to prove the discount. Why? You know, there was nobody else on the train that he could give that specific attention to. And both the seat fellow and I, we just kind of stared at each other for a second. Because,
can you believe this guy? Yeah.
You know, is this actually happening? Mm-hmm. The ticket is already paid for.
Contrary to popular belief, I have friends who are native. Like here, I would, again, he's one of my best friends. I love the dude to death. He's a sweetheart of a guy. Yeah. I would not want to bring him to Calgary.
Oh yeah.
I've seen how. So I had this opportunity when I was 18. I went to Vancouver Island. I met this Baha'i tribe out there, and I got to do a sweat lodge. JC took a light. That's the name of the guy that ran it. He goes, I joked that because you ever done a proper sweat lodge, it's these spire rocks and it's really heat. So I go, I'm going to go through because I'm going to go the distance. So we go into the next thing. Contrary to popular belief, it's not an endurance test. And it's like, they were such a cool group of people. They really, really were. And then you come here, like how you see natives treated in this city, and
it's devastating.
But I mean,
Regina was the same thing.
In Winnipeg it's the same thing. All right, and the thing is that whether we like to admit this or not, as Canadians,
we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, we do. We don't have quite the same divide, but it's still there. There's still a lot of things. There's still a lot of prejudice that goes on. And
we still have reserves that have no running water.
Yeah,
no
absolutely.
clean, healthy water.
Absolutely.
And I love this guy. How many promises have we been hearing?
Yeah, 2 hours from here. I know there's one such reserve that does that right now, and I know it does. It exists. And the thing is, it's a quiet thing that's not talked about very much. But honest to God, I mean, I can literally go down the street and see it. Mm-hmm. It's not, and I'll see them come on the bus and they're drunk and there's stuff like that. But then I think on the one hand, you're like, why the hell are you doing this to yourselves? On the other hand, you see how they're treated, and it's like, they expect you to play that role, so you go, why not? Let's do it. One came up to me. I remember this. He goes, I'm sober. I'm this. You should be proud. So, dude, brother, honestly, I am not the guy. I am not the guy that you should be looking at in terms of your pride. It's like, it's you. So everybody else, honestly, does not matter. And
actually, getting back to the whole villain thing, I actually did have one of the many unpublished things that I want to revive is exactly that. You know, there's somebody who's been mistreated and misunderstood and everything else, and they just figure, well, you know what? Why don't I just live up to your expectations?
Yeah, absolutely, it happens more often than a lot of people realize. So, in my book coming out, there's like one of my favorite lines from The Matrix is the whole thing of know thyself. Mm-hmm. I love that. It's one of the coolest things. I also realized something too. So I was a really sneaky bastard, and I threw this in there. Every one of my characters does not use their real name.
Okay.
And then the whole theme is know thyself.
Oh.
So she's like, haha, you evil SOB. So nobody. So you have to figure out who you are, right? And again, and one thing is, no one is exactly what he or she appears. Mm-hmm. So maybe not so much in book 1, but say book 2. Some of that might come out in some very interesting ways, right? And maybe by the time that's done, maybe some of those characters that don't have a real name will suddenly have a real name because you know who they are. Mm-hmm. Right.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Actually, the whole idea of nobody is what exactly they expect or what you think they are. That is basically the. It's Helix 1.
Yeah. That's exactly, like, it's one of the biggest truths of life. Mm-hmm. Nobody here is who they seem to be. Nobody's perfect.
Nope.
Everybody's got flaws. Everybody's got biases, prejudices. We all have strengths and weaknesses. On the other hand, some people here are some of the kindest, most people you would not expect to be so kind and compassionate. They are
some of the sweetest people.
Yeah. So again, my family comes from a very Christian background, and one of the most interesting things I've learned in my lifetime is the quote-unquote most sympathetic people I know are some
atheists.
Hardcore atheists, yeah. Mm-hmm. They're the nicest people by and large. Except again, there's no such thing as a perfect on that. Exactly. But it's like, you practice more Christ-like qualities than a lot of the Christians I know. Yeah. They could learn from you, and it's like, what? How did that happen, right?
And people are people no matter where you go. I've seen some really excellent, actual Christ-following Christians.
Absolutely.
And then you have some fantastic atheists, and you can learn from every one of them as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and that's one of the reasons why I love doing the writing thing. Is I get to look deeper under the surface, find out what motivates people.
Well, and also, I mean, the more selfish thing, what motivates you. Why do most writers write? Is to understand themselves.
I can see that.
Yeah.
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 I like that.
Yeah. I figured that out about myself about, I'd say, 3 years ago. And
so apparently I'm villainous. That's what I like best.
High five. Ha. That's right. So Miss Pat, can't call you Miss Pat since you are a villain?
Why not?
Or your Nero ship. Does that work?
You can call me Sarcastica.
Sarcastica. I love it. I may steal that someday. If I do, I'll give you credit for it, all right?
Yeah. That's
just call me.
I get 10 cents every time he uses it.
Yeah. You have no idea what just clicked in my head. We'll talk about that.
Yay! I'm an inspiration.
Yes. Yeah, she likes that. So I guess I should ask what's coming next and how people can contact you.
Okay, so first thing is Helix 3 is coming out. Scourge Your Bones is coming out in the fall. We're just waiting on the final artwork. Everything else is done. After that, in 2019 is IV, which is the follow-up to that trilogy. I'm so happy. Oh, I can't even tell you about it because it's a spoiler. Anyhow. I can't tell you anything about book 4 because of book 3. So
And she's literally dancing in
I
her chair.
I cannot sit still right now. I'm wagging my invisible tail.
Yeah,
It's-
she's so happy. I'm wondering actually literally she's curling her toes at this very moment.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah. But we also just launched Equus this weekend. I have a short story in that. And with my traveling bookstore, Mythhawker Traveling Bookstore, once we're finished here, I pack up. I have 10 days at home in front of Skyrim or Fallout if I want something a little more noirish.
Nino Cooney's my crack of choice right now for that.
Yep. And then I fly right out with the bookstore to Avalon Expo in St. John's.
Nice.
Which is going to be awesome because my story in Equus is set in Witless Bay,
Nice.
which is about 20 minutes drive south of St. John's.
Nice.
So guess what I'm going to go see?
Yeah. But the thing is, I need to go out there. I have friends out there. I have an invitation to go out there, and
Uh-huh.
I need an excuse. So next year, maybe I'll go. Hey Pat, how do I get in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually not that bad. There's also Sci-Fi on the Rock. I think that's in April.
Yeah.
But I decided if I'm going to see St. John's, I'm going to see it without the rain, or the wind, or the snow, or whatever strange atmospheric concoctions they have waiting for me.
That's right.
Yeah, I'd rather go with the sun.
Fair enough. Go with the sun. So finally, how can people find you on social media?
You can find me at 9 Day Wonder, NINE_day_wonder. That's my personal Twitter feed. You can also find us at Mythhawker on Twitter, or you can go to mythhawker.com.
Nice. And that was Pat Flewwelling, a.k.a. Sarcastica TM. I might owe her 10 cents for that. I might not. I don't know. Pat, what do you think? All right. Check out Helix 3 this fall. I'm when you have someone jumping up and down and kind of like hopping madly a lot about a series that she can't really talk about, it's definitely something I want to check out because it's, just really cool. So check out anything Pat mentioned here. Check out Equus, check out Mythhawker, check out her Helix series, and go or anything else she's done for that matter, and go from there. And that will do it for this episode of Just Joshing. You can support this podcast a number of different ways. You can subscribe to the podcast. Yeah, you can do that. You can either do that through iTunes, or you can either do that through Podomatic, jpentelaroscope.com. However you came to this, subscribe. That'd be great. You can check out my books. The Wandering God is now officially available for pre-order. You can get it at Amazon, or you can get it at mirrorworldpublishing.spotify shop. Oh man, mirrorworldpublishing.com. You can go check that out. Go there. Go into their store. You can order it there. Either way would be great. If you would be so kind, if you do get the book, leave a nice review. That would be awesome. Stay tuned next week for a contest about it. But also, beyond that, I have a YouTube channel, Joshua Pentelaresco. A lot of past episodes of the podcast on there, more being added all the time. Over half the episodes now are up there, so very cool. Beyond all that, stay inspired out there. Do what you feel called to do. Don't let anyone tell you can't do it, because I know between you and me and the events post in the universe, you can do anything you set your mind to. All right? All right. See you next time.
Josh.